Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I am joined by Danny Kelly, Craig Horlbeck, and today we are previewing all of the games from Week 8. We are almost halfway through the season, which is insane. It's weird that 17 weeks. It's now not quite as exciting to get to Week 8. But Week 8, there are a ton of amazing games. Follow us on Instagram, Ringer Fantasy Football. Follow us on TikTok, Ringer Fantasy Football, or John Gruden. Honestly, John Gruden's TikTok's better than ours, but follow both.
Second best.
Yeah,
Yep.
we have the second best football TikTok. And then subscribe to the Ringer NFL YouTube channel, where we are also right now going live on Tuesday nights for Power Hour if you want to check out Power Hour a little early.
It's our last show in person together. Sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
It's been fun.
He's kind of sick of us.
DK?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Somebody was joking around yesterday. Well, not joking around. They were like, does DK actually like Heifetz? Does he not like Heifetz? I'm like, of course I love you.
Yeah, it's all a bit. It's all movie magic.
Come on.
Yeah.
We're like, someone else mentioned this. We're like brothers. Like, we just bicker constantly. And actually, people who like hang out with us in real life are like, oh, so you're just like this all the time.
Yeah.
Not just on the show.
It's true. Okay, so we're going to get to the games.
Clarification. Yeah.
If you do have start-sit questions, fantasyfootball.theringer.com. We have our start-sit rankings. We're going to update that Sunday morning as well. Just going through the games here. Want to start with just Chiefs-Raiders. Chiefs are giving 10 points. No offense to Austin Gale, Raiders fan here at the Ringer. Don't care about Chiefs Raiders as much as I care about the DeAndre Hopkins trade happened as soon as we stopped recording yesterday, as if it wasn't enough for Debo to get pneumonia and Cooper Kupp to be maybe traded and all the news that happened between episodes last time. Then we put out the crazy receiver chaos episode, and then DeAndre Hopkins was dealt to the Chiefs.
I have a bone to pick with teams who make trades after waivers. I feel like they shouldn't do that.
Did you cut DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, I added him for some stupid reason. I started him. He had -2 yards. I dropped him. Woke up Wednesday morning. We come to the office. We look at our phones. DeAndre Hopkins has been traded to the Chiefs. I had just dropped him.
Well, yeah, the timing is
it's brutal. It's just brutal. They shouldn't do that. So that stinks. Although, DK, of all the hot new wide receiver ads off waivers this week, right? You have like Jalen McMillan on the Bucs because Godwin and Mike Evans are out. Who else are the hot ones? You have DeAndre Hopkins now. You have like Juwan Jennings is probably still number one.
Right.
With the Niner situation, Ricky Pearsall. Where's Hopkins now on this list?
He's
like,
right there with Jennings.
My gut wants to say like the top, just because he's a really reliable, good receiver going to a team with Patrick Mahomes, who doesn't really have a number one right now. And I think they're like he's been ramping up too. Like, he hasn't really been playing all that much. He's coming off of an injury from the preseason.
Well, he has an fixed injury. He tore his MCL meniscus. He has a tear in his knee that he decided to not
just like gonna play through it,
recover from, and instead just play through it.
Well, he did. He rubbed some dirt on it.
Yeah.
But also, like, the quarterback situation in Tennessee was kind of like a non-starter for fantasy receivers. And I mean, look at like Calvin Ridley has had like no catches. No catches.
Do you think Hopkins is going to have the good quarterback? I'm happy I'm on a good team boost. Like Amari Cooper's went from Deshaun Watson to the Browns to the Bills now. Do you think Hopkins is going to have to be reinvigorated?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not the same DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, but I mean, he's still the best contested catch guy that Mahomes, has maybe ever had, other than Kelce, as a wide receiver.
He's also the only guy on the team that can actually win against press man.
Yeah.
And so, also just to recap the Chiefs receiver situation, Hollywood Brown is on injured reserve. Rashee Rice is on injured reserve. Juju Smith-Schuster has his hamstring injury, and it's like the hamstring injury that gets
Juju Schuster-Smith.
Juju Schuster-Smith was ruled out for the Raiders game on Monday.
Which is not a great sign.
No, when you have a hamstring and they're like, no, 6 days out. No, that is no way.
I just still get it cracks me up, the Sky Moore situation.
Sky Moore
can't freaking buy a snap.
This year, Sky Moore, 3 targets, 2 drops.
So
it's like I just don't actually understand how this happened.
Because he's a quarterback.
I wasn't the biggest Sky Moore guy when he was coming out of college. I thought he would be interesting.
My expectations were low, but fuck.
Yeah, it's literally the sign. But holy fuck.
Dude, the Sky Moore thing, I think about 2 things. One, Brett Veach, the Chiefs GM, apparently when Sky Moore, who got hurt in the first game the Chiefs played, or whatever, that first game of primetime television.
The Ravens game?
Yeah, Sky Moore came in for 1 play, dropped a pass, and people just heard a fuck, like banging a table, and they look over and it was the Chiefs GM. Just like, damn it, Sky. But also, Sky Moore, 186 receivers are qualified on Pro Football Focus this season for a grade, 186. Sky Moore ranks last.
I mean, dude, 3 targets, 2 drops is about as bad as it can get.
It's the majority of his targets have been dropped.
66% drop rate is not good.
That's math.
Kadarius Toney would be more reliable at this point.
Yeah.
Why did they get rid of Kadarius?
Well, that's what's interesting to me for what's funny why did they get rid of Kadarius? But what's interesting to me for this trade is that the Chiefs have made 2 trades in the last 2 years that led to Super Bowls. Like the 2022 season, they traded for Kadarius Toney, gave I think a 3rd round pick, and then. I mean, Kadarius Toney did have the 5 snaps and basically he scored a touchdown.
We have memories of Kadarius Toney. We make jokes about name your favorite Drake London play. I do have favorite Kadarius Toney plays. Yeah. He also has some plays he's infamous for, but there are good Kadarius Toney memories.
In the Super Bowl, he scored a touchdown and then returned a punt to like the 5-yard line. So like he did end up helping the season. And then last year, the Chiefs traded for Mecole Hardman, which wasn't the sexiest thing ever, and he was their punt returner if he drops punts all the time. But then Mecole Hardman caught the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl in overtime. So this is the 3rd year in a row that the Chiefs have added a guy. And I think DeAndre Hopkins he's not like the guy who had 1,500 yards for the Texans a few years ago. I also think DeAndre Hopkins will absolutely make a difference-making play in a playoff game for Kansas City.
If anything, I think this will also just open things up for people like Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce a lot. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be putting up 8 catches for 120 yards.
Yeah.
But I think because of his ability to win in man coverage and stuff like that, I think it's going to allow Xavier Worthy to not have to run those routes that he's not good at.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Now we're talking about all the receivers that have been associated with the Chiefs over the last couple of years, and I'm like, they have a type. They have such a type. Hopkins doesn't fit this type at all because he's sort of like the reliable veteran, catch everything, huge catch radius, can win one-on-one. Everyone else that they've had, Rashee Rice, on the field, pretty reliable. Off the field, there's that whole thing. Hollywood Brown. One of the messiest receivers of the last few years. Obviously, Kadarius Toney, we've gone through that. Sky Moore can't freaking I'm actually scientifically fascinated with the Sky Moore thing. Why can't he just at least be a role player? He can't even get on the field. And then who am I missing? Oh, Xavier Worthy. Also, I think just kind of a messy, highly volatile type of player.
He's 21 years old.
Yeah. So they just have type play where it's you never know what you're gonna get with this guy. And then there was even last year Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Mecole Hardman, both of those guys are
cannot catch.
Super
Remember
chaotic.
the Sammy Watkins era?
I will say Hopkins, he's certainly different because he's no speed but contested catch. Hopkins is kind of the Chiefs type because he already missed time with a knee injury this year.
Oh, God.
So that that is kind of what they're into. But
he's already missing one ligament in his knee.
All right, so next game here, Cardinals are at Miami Dolphins this week. Tua is back.
Yeah.
First practice since September 12th for Tua this week. We talked on the Wednesday show. We actually had a pretty serious discussion about Tua returning and how it makes us feel as people, which is very strange. But I actually think if you want to hear our thoughts on that, I think we were pretty honest about what we feel about Tua coming back. So first of all, Tyreek Hill had this quote where Tyreek Hill seems over the moon. And he basically was like, "We're back, baby. Strike up the fucking band. Start me in fantasy this week."
Strike up the fucking band.
He literally hit us with a "We're so back."
Yeah, we're so back. I do want to just, and again, it's still really weird that we're going to watch Tua play football. It's weird that he's not going to wear the Guardian cap. It's weird all the stuff going on.
The Guardian cap thing is genuinely so perplexing.
Yeah. I want to read this email from Raheem. Sorry, not email.
Email. We've yet to get an email from a current NFL player. That's next.
If you're a current NFL player, please email us.
Yeah.
Or a coach. We'll take those too.
True. Yeah, we'll take anything.
Yeah, we'll take a coach. I swear anonymity if you're an NFL coach or player. If you want to email us. Raheem Mostert had this quote, which I could put in an email. But but Raheem Mostert did have a very honest quote about Tua, and I actually want to read this at length. He said, "Oh yeah, we've been talking to Tua ever since his injury. I've been telling him, hey, you need to work on sliding. And we all joke around and laugh, but on a serious note, he knows that he no, but real. Seriously, dude. And he's
no, but seriously, you should.
We're just dying laughing in the locker room talking about how he needs to slide.
Most just but on a serious note, he knows that he has to protect himself a little bit better. And moving forward, only he can control those things. We can say those things to him until we're blue in the face. But one thing that I would say, that's always my saying is, hey, you can bring a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink, right? We're going to bring Tua to that water, but we can't make him drink. He has an understanding of that. And moving forward, he's going to do his best.
That's a fucking bizarre quote.
We can bring a horse to water.
We can bring a horse to the Guardian cap, but we can't make him put it on.
No, he's on the slide.
I know. I'm just in general. The whole thing is weird.
I just keep thinking about White Goodman.
I thought about that too. but not really
seriously,
though.
You should slide.
Yeah. But seriously, I have it.
No, but seriously, slide, please.
I read about it.
In a book.
What does he say? I have shackles up in my. What's like the sex thing he has up there? He's like,
Yes.
but really though,
I got him.
I got him.
I can't actually. It's like handcuffs or something. Yeah.
Oh my god! All right, game of the year
With asterisks.
with an asterisk. Formerly game of the year.
Yeah.
The artist formerly known as game of the year.
Potentially
Is
the game of the
Now
year.
it's just a ampersand logo.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever the fuck
Yeah.
Prince did.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's amazing no one's done that ever since.
The logo?
My name is this unpronounceable logo.
It feels like Kanye would have done it.
yeah, no.
I mean, he went yay, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's still 2 letters though.
Yeah.
That's like I knew. Yeah. So the Bears are at the Commanders this week. They flexed this game out of 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'll be honest, I didn't know they could do that.
Wait, they flexed it. What did they do?
From the
They
1
flexed it
p.m.
to
Eastern
afternoon.
window, the early
Oh.
games,
give
to
it
the
more-
afternoon games.
more of a
This is
spotlight.
before they knew that Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels might not play.
So they have, obviously, it's Caleb Williams, the number 1 pick in the draft of Chicago. Jaden Daniels, the number 2 pick in the draft in Washington. They've been outrageously good. And then they flexed it. And then Jaden Daniels now is maybe going to play. He has this rib injury because it was only a matter of time till he took a hit. And it was weird. It wasn't even like one of the crazy hits he would take at LSU. But it just, I mean, let's be real. Like, this is it blue balls? Like, this sucks. If this game is just such a tease. So if
this would
Jaden
be so
Daniels
much
doesn't
fun
play,
if he plays. I mean, he didn't practice on Wednesday, Jaden Daniels. We'll see.
Do we know the hit that caused the injury?
yeah, it was well, they didn't like announce it, but there was a clear moment where he basically had a very long, like he had like a 30 or 40 yard run.
Oh, it was
against
the long
pin.
one.
The long one.
Oh.
And he just
Oh,
got
the
up.
first play.
Yeah, it was like a 50-yard run.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a very long one, and he got up, and there's a video that's like, I don't think they've acknowledged this, but I don't know if it's Ben Standig, someone who covers Washington, basically had a good breakdown that was like, yeah,
That's where it happened.
that's where he started walking.
Yeah,
over
because
here.
then after that, he didn't look right. There was something going on. He couldn't
And
throw.
I feel like we haven't talked about how that was the fear. Like, it did happen.
Right.
Like, he's been so good that it's almost like if he was bad and got injured, it would almost feel like you were more right. But because he's good and then got hurt, I feel like we're not talking about how that was the fear the whole time.
Can I ask you guys a question? Is it kind of funny that, well, not funny is the wrong word, but we were just the whole time.
Raheem Mostert's here.
No, but seriously though, is it weird that we were like, oh my God, he's like Robert Griffin III, but healthy,
And then he got hurt.
and then we didn't really see coming that he was going to get hurt. We probably should have saw that coming.
Yeah, let's not go there yet. This is not a serious injury. I don't think. So.
Yeah. It's just ribs. It's just the cage that
It's just
protects
like
his
thing that protects his
organs.
organs. It's
It's just organ cage.
Yeah.
That's what we should really call ribs. Fractured
All the
organ cage.
protects all his vital organs. It is actually a cage.
Yeah, it
The
is.
rib cage.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if I ever thought
It's a
about that.
fucking
It's
cage.
the rib cage.
Yeah.
It's the cage where all your good organs are
Yeah.
in.
we should
Yeah.
rebrand all the injuries.
Organ
I don't think I've
cage.
literally
Honest
ever
injuries.
thought of that.
Fractured organ cage. That's good.
Anyway, that's not funny.
Wait,
Well,
it's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
When
Anyway, Dinky,
when
what do
you think about it.
who do you think is going to win this game?
Well, I mean, obviously, if Jaden is out, the Bears have quite an advantage here. Caleb's been really, really good, especially the last 3 weeks. They feasted on really bad defenses. The Rams, Panthers, and Jags last 3 weeks. He is the number 2 quarterback in fantasy over that time.
Caleb
6
Williams.
touchdowns. Caleb Williams is, yeah. 6 touchdowns, 1 pick, 90 yards rushing, 0.44 EPA per dropback, which only Lamar and Goff are higher. He's been slicing up bad defenses. And Washington right now is 23rd in DVOA on defense, 25th against pass, 20th against the run. It feels like they've been pretty good. Like
They've
the
been
Washington
better.
defense has like been better than I
We
expected.
made a
but
lot
they've
of fun
also-
of them.
But they've also like
We're not paying attention to it because the games are like
right,
13
it's
to
like
10.
50 to 12.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. So this is going to be interesting, at least from that point of view, Caleb versus this defense. And we were talking about this because we talk about, I think, backup quarterbacks all the time. Why don't teams have better backup quarterbacks? Why don't they invest in the backup quarterback situation? Why don't they have guys that are like similar to their starters?
It's crazy.
And like, at least in Washington's case, like Marcus Mariota, I mean,
Perfect.
I kind of had given up on him, to be honest. Like, but he did okay in this last game when he came in after Jaden Daniels. They blew the team out again. I mean, like,
Mariota
the
played pretty
keep
well,
blowing
man.
teams out. At some point, this has to stop, right?
I'm not willing to put all my eggs in the Mariota basket.
No, I'm not either at
I've
all.
seen more than enough from Marcus over his career.
Right.
I'm willing to believe that was more of like he came in.
40-7, Craig. These are two NFL teams.
He had a couple throws, though. He had a couple throws where I was like, all right, he's back. I will say, Mariota actually, I think, could have had a better career than people give him credit for, just because he's just a quiet person and no one ever talks about. He had a nerve injury in his throwing arm.
Right.
And I feel like that never gets discussed with why he wasn't good. I don't know. I feel like I still kind of believe, but I don't know. I watched this game and he had a couple throws on the run where I was like, damn, that was kind of the time.
18 out of 23, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. They won 40-7. This is a backup quarterback. I know it was the Panthers.
And they ran all over him, but yeah.
Yeah, and they have a great run game. And Mariota, by the way, is a part of that.
And, this is the game that
34 yards rushing.
I want to say Washington has a top 2 pass offense so far, just purely, and then the Bears have a top 2 pass defense so far. I shout out Greg Rosenthal at NFL Daily. I will say, though, just with this game, again, I can't say yards, just points per drive in the 21st century. It's like the 2000 Rams, greatest show on turf, 2007, 16-0 Patriots, and then this team. I don't know what it would be. One of the weirder things in our entire time covering football if Mariota comes out and is exactly as good as Jane Daniels, and they're just like, you know
system
what I mean?
Quarterback.
Like, it would be one of, like, if it's like actually just Cliff and this ragtag group of free agents.
This is a massive game for Cliff.
It would be such a weird,
it would be crazy.
Such an NFL thing if Cliff actually turned out to be like one of the best play callers in the NFL. After like everyone made fun of him, like the picture of the house in Arizona, like the lion picture,
the one-way ticket to Thailand from Kyler Murray.
Like he's had a really weird career, especially because like he
literally did a semester abroad and came back smarter.
Dude,
which never happened.
He just looks. It's like traveling, man. It changes your perspective on shit. You know, he came back with a new appreciation for whatever.
Yeah, he's like actually going to the classes abroad. All right.
Wait, can I ask a real fantasy question? I think people are probably going to be interested in this. I want to jump back one.
Is this your bit where you ask a fantasy question that's just you have a team?
Who are you starting?
So here's the question.
you have a personal problem.
I think people are going to be very interested in what to do with. I think
many people are
talking.
People are asking.
Wacky Waddle. What do we do with him? But actually, though, Jalen Waddle, who I think is of the Ringer Fantasy Football Show's least favorite players, he's among the top 3, right? We hate Jalen Waddle.
Well,
I don't hate him.
2 out of 3 people.
We're really annoyed by Jalen Waddle.
I don't care for Joe.
Right.
I love all my children equally.
I love all the Dolphins equally.
Yeah.
But I don't care for Joe.
Waddle's been so bad without Tua, and now Tua's back. Are you just blindly back to starting Jalen Waddle, or are you in like, I'm going to wait and see?
I think you blindly start Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
I think you blindly start Devon Achane.
Yep.
I think you can start Raheem Mostert, even though he hasn't done anything this year. I don't think you like have to play Jalen Waddle. Like Jalen Waddle, frankly, even the entirety of last year when the Dolphins when Tua like led the league in yards and all this stuff was happening. How many times did we be like, oh, Waddle didn't really do anything?
There's the whole thing from last year is you and I were so anti-Waddle and you were defending him a little bit because he also didn't score many touchdowns.
My defense was kind of like, he's fine. You guys were like, I hate this guy.
Well, I don't think you have to. I think I would like to. I'd rather play someone else.
So he's not like back in immediately top 20 wide receiver territory for you.
No, I don't think so at all. Waddle is the definition of someone to me in this situation. I'd rather play him and he goes off on my bench than I'd rather bench him and he goes off. I will lose my mind if I play Jalen Waddle and he doesn't do anything in this game. You know what I mean?
You agree with that?
Yeah. We've got him right now at wide receiver 23. Was that aggressive?
Well, I mean, that's your wide receiver 3. Usually, maybe
he's like
ultimately,
he's like a borderline start.
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of makes sense. In a 2 receiver league.
Him, though. It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Ravens are at the Browns this week. This is a while. Okay, so Deshaun Watson obviously out for the season, maybe forever with an Achilles injury. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, is now not calling
maybe
plays.
forever.
He's week to week.
Instead of the O, you know the
O,
you know the O next to the name, like in fan, it just says F. Forever.
There's also the NFI for non-football injury list.
Yeah,
just no football list. Oh my god. Anyway, so Jameis Winston's just quarterbacking the Browns now, and Austin Gale has been the pioneer of killing the rainforest to pull up how bad Deshaun Watson has been, just powering on these AI cloud servers to,
just fire up. Yeah, you got to fire up the search engine.
He's boiling the oceans to figure out how bad the Browns' offense has been, and
mining Deshaun Watson stats.
But I will say though, all the Deshaun Watson stats and the EPA, that it is really team stats while he's on the field, and the quarterback obviously is mostly responsible. But the team has been bad. Like the Browns offense has been the worst Browns offense ever to start a season.
That's wild.
I know. Every time you say it, it's funny that you get all the league stats and you're like, yeah, but then you're like, no, it's the worst Browns offense ever. And you're like, that's the one
that's the context we need. Yeah.
Now and again, the other one was just that he's worse than Jamarcus Russell's season that got him ran out of the league.
Yeah.
That one's wild.
The 0-16 team.
Browns fans are like, all right,
shut the fuck up, guys. Shut the fuck up. We get it.
We've said it enough.
Shut the fuck up.
Can we move on, please?
Do we think Jameis comes in and plays really well and embarrasses him, or do we think Jameis comes in and plays poorly?
That's a really good question. So first of all, they're switching play callers. Fancy gave up his play calling duties. Now it's Ken Dorsey.
And they got rid of Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore, who, I mean, frankly, those are guys that...
And Cedric
Tillman, the rookie.
Cedric Tillman.
What a big game last week.
Probably better than
12 targets or something like that. Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty good. Like, I think it's going to, especially the context of like relative to what it was. I feel like this is going to be like an energized team here. Obviously, the Ravens defense is good though, so it's you know
it's not as good as last year. It's getting better.
They've not been as dominant, obviously.
No, not even close.
And teams have been able to pass on the Ravens, or maybe they've just been forced to pass on the Ravens because they're always behind. But yeah, and then also the Ravens are kind of banged up right now. So
is this Costanza territory?
Oh, this is big. This is big Costanza territory.
Or is it like a lot of
no, but it's not because
everyone's like Deshaun's
the Ravens
out.
are like the hottest team in the NFL right now. Like Lamar is.
But it would have been more of a Costanza if it was Deshaun playing.
If Watson was playing, everyone would be like,
sure.
"There's no chance."
Yeah.
So maybe not. Is Mariota a Costanza against Caleb or nah?
I think that's a Costanza because everyone is like, "Oh well, if Jaden doesn't play, I guess this would have been game of the year." And then it's like Mariota comes in and throws. That
is game of the year.
Yeah, just Mariota passing overs. Yeah, that's
I don't
pretty.
know. I think this is more of a Costanza than
the Browns.
Yeah.
But Jameis, everyone's like, oh yeah, Jameis is better. I think everyone understands Jameis better than Deshaun. But to your point, I think it's because the Ravens are playing so well, and
like Lamar is in God mode right now.
If you go to QB, wait, let me get. I usually say our URLs so often that I have to get this one right. Our quarterback rankings, NFLrankings.thereamer.com. Stephen Reeves has his quarterback rankings. He moved Lamar Jackson over Mahomes to number one for the first time in 2 years. But I think it's deserved based on how everyone's playing this year. Lamar, 2-time MVP. This is the best season of his career.
Yeah, 2-time MVP at like he's 27 years old or whatever he is.
Yeah.
And like maybe on his way to number 3.
Yeah. This is pretty unprecedented.
Yeah.
Well, he I don't know. He's like, I've said this I think before the season. Like he has 2 MVPs and he's still underrated somehow as a quarterback. Like people still kind of doubt him, and I understand like the way he's played in the playoffs is still like very much hanging over his sort of legacy and the impression people have of him. But he's entered that area. When I watch him play, I'm like, everything looks easy to him. Everything is like slowed down. He's slicing and dicing up a defense all over the field, like short, middle, long, all like over the middle of the field. He can pass it deep. He's got a really good connection with Rashad Bateman. Bateman's actually been kind of a surprising story this year. He's been really good. And obviously Mark Andrews is playing better. We got to give a shout out to Mark Andrews because he's
kind of
come back from the dead.
Andrews, he's revived by Lamar, and I think he just needed an extra month. Derrick Henry's on pace to like break the rushing record or whatever, and obviously half the width through the season. And the thing I want to say about Lamar, so 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions is crazy. The other thing I want to throw out there is just, I think just the actual improvements in his play. You look at Lamar as someone who obviously has always had the outrageous highlight ability, but I think in the playoffs that there was like the down-to-down consistency, sometimes the ability against the blitz. That stuff's kind of over. I think like now that Lamar can do the easy, like frankly, the stuff that was hard for Lamar was easy for other quarterbacks, and the stuff that was hard for other quarterbacks was really easy for Lamar. Now everything looks easy to Lamar. Right. You know what I mean? Like blitzing.
The low lights are kind of gone.
The low lights are gone. Like that, knock on wood. But like that's really the problem. And I there's no holes. I don't know what the holes are in Lamar's game anymore. At least like the traditional ones are totally gone.
It's narrative now. It's like can he win in the playoffs?
And exactly. And it's like honestly, he's like basically Aaron Judge, where I know you don't give a shit about baseball, but it's kind of like and nothing Aaron Judge ever does again will matter until he wins the World Series, and Lamar's similar. I will say this though. Average net yards per attempt, which is like the best quarterback stat, in my opinion, and it's just basically it's net yards per attempt, but you include sacks and interceptions and touchdowns, which you should. His average, so it's basically when you include touchdowns, sacks, and picks, every time he throws the ball, he averages 9.5 yards.
Yeah, that's wild.
9.5. That's
Pretty
fucking
efficient.
crazy.
Pretty
Basically a
efficient.
first down.
Yeah.
That's absolutely nuts.
He's the heavy favorite right now for MVP odds. It's him, and then a decent drop, and then it's Mahomes and Allen. This would be kind of his third MVP to be 28. It's kind of like Jokic, to be honest. They both had 2 MVPs. Nikola Jokic, on the Nuggets, he had 2 MVPs by his age 27 season.
Yeah.
And then he won a ring the year after. Ironically, he won 3 MVPs in 4 years. The year he didn't win MVP, he won the title.
Oh, that's funny.
I think, we were talking the other day about people like Justin Herbert, where it's like, all right, we know you're good, win a playoff game. Lamar is just the next level of that. It's like, all right, we know you're good. 3 MVPs without even going to a Super Bowl. I mean, how many, are there any active MVPs that haven't been to a Super Bowl other than Lamar?
Haven't been? That's a good question. I mean, Rodgers, Lamar, Mahomes. Ghosts are just screaming.
I'm
left and right.
looking.
Yeah,
So we got
ghosts are just screaming.
Lamar, Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Matt Ryan won in 2016. He went to a Super Bowl. Cam Newton, 2015. He won a Super Bowl.
The last one was probably
Manning,
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's 2012.
That's a good call. I think, here's my question, though. You mentioned Jokic and Lamar. I actually like that comp a lot. Do you think the problem is that Lamar Jackson loves football?
He loves it too much.
Because
Football needs to be his hobby.
Yeah, because Jokic basically is just he hates basketball.
It's just like what he does to make money.
Does it to make horse money.
Right.
And so maybe if Lamar
money.
Lamar,
Horse guy.
big horse guy, Nikola Jokic.
Yeah,
I think
Lamar should just get into like golf or something.
I think the funniest,
Fishing.
No, we don't want him to get into golf.
I think Jokic's press conference after winning the NBA title is the funniest thing that's happened in sports in my entire life. When he's just like, I hate the sport and all this
When's
stuff.
the parade? They're like Thursday. He's like,
oh,
I was going to
Thursday.
go home.
I was going to fly out on Wednesday.
By the way, I think I said it that Cam won a Super Bowl. He did not win a Super Bowl.
But
He
yeah,
went
did
to
you
a Super
say he
Bowl.
won a Super Bowl?
I might have accidentally said that, but I didn't mean it.
It lost to Noodle Armani.
Right.
That was also like a real.
That was kind of just like a fake year. I don't really count that year.
the Peyton
It was a
Manning
dumb
Super
year.
Bowl win.
That was a dumb year.
It's just a dumb year.
I will say, Cam
2015?
Yeah.
Cam Newton made a Super Bowl with Jericho Cotchery, and then his whole career came down to just like not going for that ball with Von
I
Miller.
know. They were
But
15-1 that year.
That was an ick.
Yeah.
That sucks. You lose twice, you can't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Fuck the Patriots, though. Okay. Next game here, we got the Colts at the Texans. Texans are giving 5. This is CJ Stroud versus Anthony Richardson, parentheses, derogatory.
Yeah. 7 weeks ago, this looked better. I mean, I mean, it's much more derogatory for Richardson than it is Stroud. Stroud had a bad game against the Packers, who I think are a really underrated team. Richardson is the much more interesting situation where we were worried about if we play Waddle with Tua. Good Lord. Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. I don't know what you do. Jonathan Taylor might play this week. He was a limited practice. He was limited in practice on Wednesday. Have we seen yet what he's done today?
We have
We're
to
recording
email us
Thursday.
at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. If you're a doctor or any medical professional, I love rebranding rib cage as orchid cage.
Yeah.
Please, if you want to rebrand high ankle sprain with like honest high ankles, because that is like the most serious injury. With
We
the
got it.
least
Yeah,
serious
we have
name.
to. We have to rebrand it as something that sounds way scarier.
And Sal also said this about pulling a hamstring.
Should be tear.
Sounds like carnival barking.
Yeah.
Yeah, pulled a hamstring, and I'm like, that's so dumb.
Yeah, it should be a tear. He tore his hamstring.
But
Partial
there
tear.
are tears of hamstrings too.
But when you pull your hamstring, aren't you?
Is it
you're
like a
tearing
tearing
fibers.
it?
It's like a micro tear.
Yeah, it's just called a partial tear or something.
What if we just call him micro tore his hamstring?
Yeah,
I mean,
And then the other one's like
adding
a
a
macro.
micro kind of makes it sound less, but
partial.
we could say mega tear.
Well, that's only if it's like what
That's
Mike
like
Evans did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
that
saying,
was a
adding
mega
adding
tear.
a micro doesn't make it sound worse. Just saying.
But you don't think micro is
Size isn't
more than-
everything, DK.
I'm just saying, like,
We weren't all blessed.
usually
Okay.
micro means like, it's a little teeny thing. It's like a teeny tiny tear.
Anyway, I don't think you play.
Anyway.
I don't think you play a single Colt that's not Jonathan Taylor.
I like how it's just, you don't play a Colt. Don't
Yeah.
play,
Don't play a Colt.
Horse guy over
I don't
here.
think you play.
big horse guy.
Don't play a Colt.
I don't think you play a Colt. Do you disagree? Are you
No, I
playing
don't
Michael Pittman or
disagree.
Josh Downs or even Anthony Richardson at this point?
Just think
No,
about Jokic
no.
rooting for the Colts and the Broncos now and every week.
Dude, Anthony Richardson, 11 points a game. Like, that's unstartable. I mean, I would say just like until he does something, we can't.
I'm getting a memento
can't bank on
tattoo that says draft Anthony Richardson in 2026 because everyone's going to give up
Yeah.
on him.
I mean,
But no, I mean, right now, yeah, look, the reality
You want to do Anthony Richardson name game?
to play this week?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Geno Smith?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, are we saying yes, play him over them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Bo Nix.
Aaron Rodgers
Bo-
is
I
sort
would
of
play
like
Bo Nix.
borderline.
I
Aaron
would play Bo
Rodgers is
Nix.
averaging 14 points a
You'd
game.
play Bo Nix.
The certainty with which we're saying this means that Anthony Richardson will be the number one
I
quarterback.
mean,
What
that'd
about
be great. If we could jinx him into playing well, that'd
Oh,
be
that's
awesome.
good. Let's
What
jinx
about
him to
Drake
play
May?
well. Drake
Oh,
May.
yeah, easily.
One fewer touchdown pass than Patrick Mahomes on the season.
Jameis.
Yeah.
You play Jameis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that game could be
Wow.
40 to 38.
I mean, he's low. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, look, Richardson has been one of the biggest misses in fantasy this year. And I really hope he can turn it around. I still kind of like believe in him long term. I'm just like, this year, the confidence is not good. He's under 50% completion rate. I know completion rate isn't everything, but that's like a pretty good picture of
It's kind of like how
his struggles. Like he just cannot complete a pass.
It's kind of like how Sky Moore. I would prefer that the majority of his.
I like my
target-
quarterbacks to complete a pass. Can you
Yeah.
do that? In the
It's
Trump?
bad when like I think I could throw a screen pass maybe better than
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson.
It's like when you watch him throw to the left, the mechanics just look so weird, and like you can see him just.
It's like he
thinking
had a
about it.
donut around the football and he was warming up with the donut around it on the sideline and then he came in and
just
took
like
the donut
chucked
off.
it over, like the,
Dude.
you're talking about like the bat
Yeah,
warm up
th-
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will say we all just totally clowned ourselves because we just compared Richardson. It was like he's Josh Allen.
Yeah,
He's Josh
yeah.
Allen for the draft,
is
and we
what we
just
do.
forgot Josh Allen fucking sucked for the first 2 years of his
Right.
career.
And like 98% of the Josh Allen prototypes end up sucking.
And that's the thing. We weren't just like, oh, we didn't like him in the draft. When they got Stephon Diggs, all we did for 6 months was joke how Stephon Diggs was going to like throw a hissy fit every time a screen was like thrown over his fucking head because Josh Allen never put a screen on anyone's numbers in his entire life. And now he's good. But yeah,
I want to be clear though. I still believe in Richardson long term.
2026,
Like, I think he has,
Richardson
like,
will win MVP.
the traits are still really, really there, and he just needs to like put it together. And
We'll
maybe
see.
it's just not going to happen this year.
I might be out.
He's
I'm not out.
still
I'm not
the
out.
youngest quarterback in the the starting quarterback in the NFL. So
Yeah, and he's like very inexperienced.
Sky Moore
even going
pretty
back
young.
like the number of starts he
Yeah.
had in college and high school.
By the way, I don't know if you guys saw Sky Moore to IR
get out of
with
here.
a core muscle injury. I think Patrick Mahomes punched him in the gut.
core muscle injury, right in the organ cage. The organ cage couldn't help on this one.
Yeah. Mahomes circumvented the organ cage.
Yeah.
Got him in the oblique.
Heifetz is losing it.
So, there's actually nothing worse than somebody laughing too hard at what you say.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
It's like,
all
almost
right,
like
all right, all
insulting.
right, all right. Let's move on here.
Okay,
We're all adults
like,
here.
Let's be honest, it wasn't that funny.
Fuck. Never been made fun of for laughing at someone's joke that they just made.
I saw
Eat that.
the Tim
That's-
Robinson. Did you see the Tim Robinson skit where it's like he's at like a funeral and he's like, "You did a good job. Like you got some good laughs." Or I think it was like maybe not a funeral, it was church or whatever. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The only reason you were getting those laughs is because you're a priest or whatever.
All right. Jets, Patriots this week. This game, like the Jets 3 weeks ago, bashed the Patriots' heads in. It was like 24-3, and then they haven't won a game since.
Mm.
And
That was not with May though, Drake May.
no, it was not with May. So now they have Drake May, which is cool. They hate Gerard
which
Mayo.
is cool.
It's really Gerard May, no, because I feel like everyone in the Patriots
People are
hates
turning on him already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, Bill Simmons.
Yeah, Bill's
Bill's leading the pitchfork
Among
charge.
others.
going for his head on Twitter.
Tagging him on Twitter.
at Delta Airlines.
yeah. That's good. It's like you're playing to an airline.
Yeah, this
The
game.
Patriots
I'm
suck,
more
bro.
interested to talk about this game after it happens than I am to preview it. You know what I mean?
I was wondering, can I float something by you guys? Do you think that we should have
No.
more Jets trade targets? Do you think they haven't traded for enough Jets receivers?
Who do they need? Right
Cup.
Randall Cobb.
now? Yeah.
They could get
I
David
don't think
Bakhtiari
they
to
need
block.
to trade for him.
I like maybe kind of bringing Jordy Nelson off the couch.
Yeah.
What's Jordy doing?
Greg Jennings. Let's get the band back. Donald
No,
Driver.
Jennings hates him. Jennings doesn't like Rodgers.
What's Jermichael Finley doing these days?
Donald Driver.
Hanging out?
Donald Driver's
Driver.
sick. That was a sick name.
How old do you think Donald Driver is? 45?
48.
What do you think?
43.
49.
Damn. I was way off.
I was
He's good to go. He's good to go.
Doesn't seem like it was that long ago he was playing. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Time
I mean,
flies.
it was a long time ago, in fact. It
well,
was-
clearly, since he's almost 50.
Yeah.
This is the first week of the season where teams are playing each other again.
Oh.
Jets, Pats already played, and Falcons,
Oh, yeah.
Bucks have
Falcons,
already played.
Bucks. Yeah.
We're starting to get repeats now.
No, we are. And the vibes are super different in all those games. I mean, you just mentioned Falcons Bucks. We can just do it right now. That was like the best game of the season 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, 500
And now
yards
it's
from Kirk.
super depressing
Yeah.
because Chris Godwin's out and Mike Evans is out, and now it's actually like a really depressing game. Baker sucks now. But
yeah, now we have a weird combination of Sterling Shepard, Jalen McMillan, Trey Palmer. Maybe it's the Kate Otten show now.
It's crazy how
they convert Rachaad White to receiver just full time.
Yeah. The passing game is going to be way, way worse. I mean, obviously, with Mike Evans, Godwin, like those guys were absolutely balling out. Now you got a bunch of, either over the hills, Sterling Shepard, or really unproven.
I cannot believe Sterling Shepard's playing the NFL
I know, it's
right
wild.
now. Sterling Shepard got
He's had so many injuries.
Clay Thompson like years ago. And the Giants were like, he was a beloved Giant who's best friends with Saquon. And I can't believe that like they let him go. The idea that he's now like playing a significant role for a team that's very much
like
trying
might
to
be their sort of quote unquote number one receiver.
Yeah,
and win
like
the division.
X.
It's crazy. I almost think he has to be able to sit in that same spot that he's currently in. And then like the bulk of the work has to go to Trey Palmer and Jalen McMillan. I think Jalen McMillan's really good, but like this is a stress test for the whole team.
I will say the one thing that's been going for the Buccaneers is they've been running the ball really well lately. They've been running the hell out of the ball. So that could be like the one thing that they do well here.
I have to imagine that's going to change with Godwin and Mike Evans out.
Yeah.
I got to say, the spreads are pretty thick. They're heavy this week. There are some like large favorites. There's a ton of Costanzas. I mean, this is another one. Who's taking the Bucs without Godwin and Mike Evans versus the Falcons?
You know what?
There's like 10 Costanzas. We should just bet every dog.
We should bet the dogs. That's a good Costanza too, because I will say if the Bucs are going to like actually recover from the Godwin Evans thing, you would think it would need time, but in reality, the Falcons' pass rush sucks. It's always sucked. It sucks again. I mean, I think I don't even know how many sacks the Falcons even have all the season. But if there is a game where the Bucs will be able to recover in the pass, it's probably one where Baker actually has all day to throw. Man, that's a good Costanza. What is the spread?
It's only 2.5. Why is it now? I'm like, should I take the Falcons? It's only the Falcons are favored by 2.5 points. How are they not going to win this game by 14?
That is a good Costanza. Honestly, it never occurred to me at any point to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Like the Bucs defense is bad, and every instinct I have is like the Falcons are going to win this game, which I guess means I should take Baker Mayfield and a bunch of rookies and
randos,
has-beens.
Yeah.
All right, other games. Titans are at the Lions this week. I mean, 11-point spread.
That's tough. Yeah.
That would be the Costanza, but we're not doing that. That's not. No.
That's like a different category than Costanza. It's like if the spread's over 10. I don't know. I feel differently.
Wait, is this actually the definition of the Costanza or not?
No.
Well,
no.
I feel like the Falcons-Bucs thing, I'm like, I don't know who's going to win that game. That's not a Costanza whatsoever. This one, I'm like, there's no way in hell the Titans are winning. Freaking Mason Rudolph.
I don't know.
They just traded away their best receiver.
No way.
Right. That's what a Costanza is. That's like literally the definition of a
Costanza.
You're right.
What are you talking about?
You're right. That is what it is.
But this one I'm sure of.
Right. Okay. Explain to me again what a Costanza is then, if you don't think this is one.
If every instinct you have is wrong, the opposite must be right.
I mean, the Lions are, but I'm going to use the word I love. They're a buzzsaw right now.
This is the Costanza. This is like everything I know about the world suggests the Lions will win the football game. I would bet almost anything.
Right.
Oh my God, the Titans are 5-1 to win this game. How could they win?
How could they win? I don't know. The Titans have a good defense.
I think the offensive line too is getting, but the left side of that offensive line for the Titans is going to. My hottest take that no one would give a shit about is I think they're both going to go to the Hall of Fame. We have J.C. Latham at left tackle, and I think and Peter Skronsky.
Wow, you're
left
saying
guard.
Hall of Fame for both.
I think that's the hottest take I have that no one gives a fuck. But
that's like the
that should be
no one has like any way to like.
We need to have that pod. Hottest take that nobody gives a fuck about.
And I'm like, that's the best side of it. Yeah, but the offensive, the Nate Tice keeps tweeting out like videos of them like fuck. I hate talking about football. I was gonna say them double teaming guys, but I hate talking about football so much.
I don't get it. Why
that's getting clipped?
But the left side of that line is so good that I can maybe no Aiden Hutchinson, maybe the Titans Tony Pollard, but there's just a huge Tony Pollard game.
Chicken salad.
I was just
on rye.
The NFL is weird as hell, man.
Untoasted.
All right, it's 5-1. No, are we gonna like put this out and put it on the Instagram? This is crazy.
We have to. All
right, fine.
It's the rules.
It's our fiduciary responsibility.
Right. We can't Costanza every single game. I think this is the most clear Costanza.
You're right that it didn't
but
even
then
occur
we're
to
just
me.
Picking the game with the biggest spread every week, which I don't agree with. It's more about gut and instinct.
No, but this is also that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I agree with that.
Like
because we didn't do the Browns last week against the Bengals because
that was a Watson thing. No, like the Ravens spread versus the Browns is 9.5, which is basically the same thing. But I don't agree at all about the Ravens-Browns thing because I'm like, yeah, if
because
Jameis
you like
won,
Jameis, so your instincts are telling you Jameis, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, my instincts are like, if Jameis came out and threw a ton of the Ravens defense, would you be surprised? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Sean sucked. That doesn't count.
Yeah, so I think like going forward, if you can visualize it and feel like even remotely,
if you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah.
I think he's right.
All right. Mason Rudolph, fired up.
All right, next game here.
Fired up.
Ready to go. All right, Packers are
Is this a Nick Westbrook-Akine big game?
He's gonna win it all. All right, the Titans got enough juice. It's
been the NWI season.
It's enough on the Titans. Packers are at the Jaguars this week.
Yeah. What's the spread in this game? 3.5 Packers are favored on the road in Jacksonville. I still think the Packers are just really good and not that famous, and I figured out why.
Why is it only 3.5?
Great question, because everyone's sleeping on Green Bay. I figured out why. It's because they haven't been on primetime. Every other good team you can think of has been on primetime at least twice. The Chiefs,
except for the Brazil game.
That is the only time, but that was Peacock. It was Peacock exclusive
on a Friday night.
On a Friday,
Labor Day weekend.
Yes, Friday, Labor Day weekend in Brazil.
One after Labor Day, but whatever.
Right, and it was Peacock. Jesus, I got like the biggest frog in my throat.
Clear it out,
dude. That's the primetime executives getting to you, being like, shut his ass down.
Yeah, so it's like cool. The Packers played once on Peacock. Every other team, Lions, Chiefs, Ravens, Niners, Bills, Steelers, Eagles, 2, 3, 4 times. So that is officially why
I think you're
actually right.
Yes.
I think this is a good. I will also, just while we're on the Packers.
We haven't had the collective Packers experience yet. And the one we did, it was like a slip and slide and Jordan Love got hurt anyway.
Right.
And no one was watching that game.
If there's I think the Lions will win the NFC. And if they don't, though, I think it's the Packers. And I picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl for the season. But
I just don't understand this line at all. The Jags are like, they've gotten a little bit better the last couple of games, but man. This is not a.
You're right. Actually, this line doesn't make any sense.
3.5?
No, this is one I'm not going to overthink.
The Packers just held CJ Stroud to 86 yards.
I think no. Right. I think you're totally. I think no. You're right that this could be an 8-point spread. Like a month from now, we'd look back and be like, this is going to be an 8-point spread. I also have to shout out. I thought this was fascinating. I think this actually is more impactful than any trade that will happen at the NFL trade deadline. Robert Saleh, who got fired as the Jets head coach, is now consulting for the Packers. Mm-hmm. I think this could swing the season. Like, there's a chance you look back on it because Robert Saleh.
Heifetz is the biggest Saleh fan in the world. I don't know anyone who has any strong feelings about Saleh other than Heifetz.
Whatever you want about the Jets.
He's a good defensive coach.
The Jets had the worst defense in the NFL when he got there, and like 2 seasons in, they had the best defense in the NFL. So I mean,
yeah, but the Packers' defense has been pretty awesome without him.
So it'll get worse with him?
I'm just saying, like, you're saying this could be the biggest move of the entire season? They've already been good.
They have an NFL head coach helping. Dude, they have an NFL.
Look, maybe you're right, but I'm just like, this is like a big leap, I feel like. Like, Packers' defense has already been awesome.
I don't think it's a stretch to say that Robert Saleh coming in might be a little more impactful than, Dearness Johnson or Cam Akers getting traded to the Vikings. Anyway, but this thing I wanted to say.
Why did he pick that move and not like Amari Cooper?
Because I thought about DeAndre Hopkins going to the Chiefs, and I was like, you know what, that does sound pretty fucking impactful, doesn't it?
Look, you might be right. Look, honestly, like I don't have like strong feelings about this, but I've like literally never heard anyone give more impassioned defense.
He did a great job, and Aaron Rodgers shivved him, and he didn't have any choice in that. I just think the whole thing was crazy. And anyway, but LaFleur was the best man in Robert Saleh's wedding, and Saleh is now staying at Matt LaFleur's house, like right now in Green Bay.
He's like a bachelor just got broken up with. He's like, can I crash on your couch?
Very much so. Very much so.
By the way, this man has 7 children.
And then, I forget. Yeah. And so Jordan Rodriguez did a great job at the Play Caller series and just writing, and she's been all over this. But basically, Saleh and LaFleur, they first worked together at Central Michigan University as graduate assistants. They shared an apartment that had 2 beds, kitchen table, no chairs. Which is the most like mid-20s thing I've ever heard.
One IKEA lamp in the corner.
Yeah. And then 2008, Robert Saleh went and worked for Gary Kubiak, who was there with Kyle Shanahan and all this stuff. Anyway, I wanted to just note, Jordan Rodriguez noted that Robert Saleh and Matt LaFleur, they were called when they were like quality control, whatever, the Texans, they called themselves the Piss Boys.
Okay.
Gentlemen's Piss Club.
Right up Craig's alley here.
Piss Boys.
Okay. Damn.
And I thought this was interesting because
did they do it first?
Matt LaFleur said,
Piss Boys.
So Matt LaFleur said, they asked him, what is Robert Saleh's role? He's like helping the defensive coach. He's helping the offense, game plan for other defenses. Matt LaFleur said it's a fluid situation. It's a fluid role.
Well played.
Do you think that that's like an inside joke with him and Robert Saleh?
Yeah.
It's a fluid role?
Yeah.
He's basically, you're going to be my piss boy. I feel like that was...
Wait, why were they called the Piss Boys? I missed that.
I think because they were listed bottom of the totem pole. I don't know.
I think there's more story to hear that we need
perhaps
to
there
figure
was a wild night out.
Anyway,
The
Piss Boys. So there you go. Green Bay Piss Boys. Piss Boys Super Bowl. All right.
I'm actually, them being called the Piss Boys actually makes me like this more. Maybe Saleh is
Piss
like
Boys, baby.
like maybe there's something to this.
Maybe we could get them on
I'm
the
back.
pod to
I'm
talk
all in,
the Piss
actually.
Club.
Yeah.
I feel like that's right up their alley.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right. Eagles, Bengals. This is a weird game between two weird teams, man. The Bengals, first off, the Bengals win this game. They will have crawled from 1-3 to back to 500, 4-4. And then they get the Raiders next week. No offense to Austin, Raiders fan. But
actually offense to Austin.
They might have been, weren't they 1-4, the Bengals?
Oh, yeah. And again, the Raiders, like if there's one team that could pull off that, like one team ever has started 1-4 and made the playoffs, the Bengals are like that team you'd pick. So it's a pretty huge game, but I think
because they already were one of the teams that did it 2 years ago, right? Weren't they 1-3?
This is like,
and they made the playoffs?
They're like notorious.
They're the 0-2 team,
yeah.
But 1-4 is tough. But I just think the question is, can they stop Saquon and stop the Eagles running? Like, I think
their defense has not been good. The Eagles' offense is weird. Like Jalen Hurts.
The Eagles are weird.
Jalen Hurts has not been like playing that well, but they're still a pretty tough offense to defend just because of the run game. What Jalen Hurts can do on short yardage in the red zone.
What did you say about Hurts this week? Where it's like all the cliches
He's
now.
method acting and it's no longer cool.
Yeah. That's true.
The Eagles defense has also been solid this year, especially of late. This is kind of a fraud watch game for me where I'm like, whoever wins this game, I will believe in. This is like a real legitimate win. And the one who loses, it's because I'm like, the Eagles beat up on the Giants last week, 28-3. The Bengals, beat up on an easy team last week. If whoever wins this game, I will officially be like, all right.
Show us who you are.
Yes.
Yeah, whoever loses this game is kind of a fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles beat the Giants and the Browns the last two games.
Late slate, afternoon games. And again, we forgot to mention at the top, there's no bye weeks this week. There's no bye weeks. No London games.
Yeah, what?
There's just straight up like 14 games on Sunday.
It's because they're trying to take down the NBA and the MLB.
Actually, I think for real, though, I do think there are no bye weeks because the NFL wants to slam the World Series in ratings. And I think that this is like they're trying to destroy. They don't want any teams not playing this week.
That's wild. There's also 6 buys in week 14. So that's super fun for fantasy.
That is a little crazy.
Must be a slow week in television, whatever's going on that week.
Yeah.
NFL doesn't care.
Bills are playing the Seahawks. DK, I feel like the Seahawks are at a big crossroads.
This is another, I think,
like a sneaky big game.
Yeah, this is another really interesting matchup. I think the
game
Seahawks.
It probably is
the actual game of the year. Yeah.
Okay.
Bills at Seahawks. Seahawks are 4-3. I feel like this is a crossroads game for the Seahawks a little bit because, right now they're 4-3. They've got a pretty tough schedule going forward. They got the Rams. They still play the Rams twice. They play the 49ers. They play Green Bay. They play New York, the Jets. They play the Vikings. So they've got like a pretty tough schedule going forward. And if they don't win this game, I think they're going to be behind the 8 ball. Because it's going to be very tough for them to like get to 10 wins or 9 wins even really. And so I don't know, man, this is tough. And like the Seahawks, I think surprised a lot of people with how well they played against the Falcons last week. I think people were kind of giving up on the Seahawks.
Well, they're getting healthier.
Yeah. Their defense is getting healthier.
Byron Murphy is awesome.
Yeah, because they were getting shredded on the run for a couple weeks.
Byron Murphy being back has been really big. Like their pass rush has kind of been better. DK Metcalf, questionable whether he'll play in this game.
First of all, DK Metcalf, like Jaden Daniels, is called week to week. I feel like no one who's ever been called week to week has almost ever played. And I know, I feel like 18 out of 20 times you're not playing.
The only time it's ever happened was literally this year when they were like, Michael Pittman probably going to IR with a back injury. And they were like, just kidding, he's playing this week.
Even IR is month to month, Unlike Deshaun Watson, who's
forever.
Yeah.
Infinity.
But the Seahawks, the other thing I just want to mention is that the Seahawks traded their middle linebacker, Jerome Baker, that they just signed a 1-year deal this year. They traded Jerome Baker to Tennessee for Ernest Johnson, their middle linebacker. And there's draft picks involved as well.
If you need logs.
Yeah. Do the joke for people who never heard it.
Saw 2 log trucks. This is
Brian Regan.
He's like, I saw 2 log trucks passing each other on the road the other day. And it's like, well, if they need logs, and they need logs, you think a phone call would save a lot of trouble here. Are like middle linebackers logs? I feel like these are 2 different like types of players though.
No, there's logs.
Do they need logs?
Yeah. No, kickers are the logs. Whatever. Kickers are absolutely just replaceable.
We'll get to Brandon Aubrey in a moment.
Interchangeable.
Don't you worry.
But yeah, no, I think this is a big game for the Seahawks. If they can win this game, I think it gives them legitimacy and like a real shot of being a team that could, make some noise in the playoffs. If they don't win,
winning the NFC West.
They have a tough road to the playoffs if they don't win.
Winning the NFC West would be cool. That'd be super chill.
I mean, it does help that the NFC West is like in chaos right now.
Yeah,
so they might still have a shot at it even if they lose. But I just think like this is a big, like you just said, if the Seahawks win, I'm going to be like, this team is actually pretty good. And if they lose, I'm going to be like, They might sneak in, but it's going to be tough. Cardinals are in second place right now in the NFC West. 3-4. That's weird. No comment?
No.
You guys got really silent there for a minute.
I don't know why. Something about the way you said 3-4.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Did I say something weird?
What you said?
I literally read the record of an NFL team.
You said the Seahawks are second in the NFC West at 3-4?
No, I said the Cardinals.
Oh, Cardinals.
I'm saying the NFC West is in upheaval. 49ers.
Sometimes when people tell me about their division, I'm like, I don't care.
It's like your fantasy team.
Totally, it's like your fantasy
I totally actually understand it. My division. Yeah.
I'm just like, tell them about the NFC West. And they're like,
this is like the East Coast, West Coast thing with Heifetz. He's like, you fucking West Coasters. I don't care how you live your lives. Like, everyone else is living out here on the East Coast. This is like how Heifetz treats us.
I know.
The West
I was
Coast
trying to tell
like
Anthony DeBundo about Mendocino Farms,
coast.
and he had like no interest in hearing about Mendocino Farms. I was like, yeah, it's like a good sandwich salad spot out here. He's like, we don't have that.
I don't care about things people like in LA. It
like,
doesn't matter to me. This has no bearing on my life.
People hate my city.
This is like literally exactly how Heifetz treats me and Craig.
Treats you and Craig.
No,
I
just
try to
about
say
the East Coast, West Coast thing. I'm like, you say you
East
people.
Coast people
on the West
hate
Coast.
the West Coast, and West Coast people don't give a fuck about the East Coast.
We don't actually think about you.
West Coast people are like, yeah, East Coast is cool. I like New York.
This is East Coast, West Coast people. It's because I work with you guys. That's the tether. I don't think the East Coast people give a fuck about you either. I happen to have to care about the West Coast time
East Coast people
constantly.
Such a bone to pick with In-N-Out, and then West Coast people are like, oh yeah, East Coast food's great. I like the pizza. Really good.
We're just too busy living our lives, just having fun.
Soaking up the sun.
Surfing.
Yeah. Too busy on the waves.
Smoking reefer. That's how I picture like LA. Surfing and smoking reefer.
That's true.
Smoking the
That's
reefer.
what I'm about to do the second we finish this recording.
Let's go to the beach, man.
Saints are at the Chargers this week.
That's a skip.
I don't really give a shit. This game sucks.
Yeah,
I will say someone said, is it Ramblin' Rattler? Hobbled Herbert. And Ramblin' Rattler.
I don't know. There's something about the way Craig says hobbled.
Hobbled Herbert. They said Jim Harbaugh could fix Herbert. I don't think he can.
DK, you told me someone did the Trump video with his hands and they put an accordion between his hands.
Yeah, they like superimposed an accordion, and it like moves and makes noise. Like this was like from years ago.
I gotta say, when the Chargers lost to the Cardinals last week and scored like 12 points, it gave me the ick. And I was in on the Chargers. I thought they were like a solid team and could beat bad teams because the Cardinals are not very good. So they're off my radar a little bit right now. They need to prove
He's
it
giving
again.
up on Josh Palmer.
They need to prove it again. Josh Palmer, good game.
Josh Palmer scored. That game.
He did not score. Good game last week, though.
He had like
he had like 60 yards.
A couple catches. Yeah.
Nice
that
sideline toe
Chargers
tap.
game, though, is exactly the kind of game that Harbaugh came in and was supposed to win. That is the game.
That was the Chargers he lost.
The Chargers have been losing those games
100%.
20 years.
It's a great call.
That's what Harbaugh was supposed to fix.
Yeah.
It's
lost it in on the final drive.
Yeah, first half of his first season, it is what it is. But like that is what he was supposed to change, and so that it was a huge ick. Panthers Broncos, as if that game wasn't icky enough. Panthers Broncos, my God.
Kind of a mess.
Bryce is
total mess. Yeah,
massive spread for Bo Nix.
Broncos giving 10 points.
10 points for
It
Bo?
is. Well, it's because Bryce Young's
Panthers
back.
have been atrocious.
So this is a weird story. So
I know, Bryce Young, my God.
Andy Dalton was in a car accident this week. I was going to say he's fine. He's not playing, but like no one left in an accident or anything. But his kids were in the car, and he was saying his kids, never been through anything like that. So that sucks. And so he sprained his thumb in the car crash, which
that's interesting.
It's kind of like the only job he would have to miss work for that. But so Andy Dalton's not playing this game because he sprained his thumb. I don't know. I was
he just short circuited thinking about Bryce Young's
I was trying to see if I could thread
return.
the needle on a tasteful joke there. I was like,
leave that pause in when we do the edit.
I was trying to see is like, could I find a tasteful way to make fun of the car crash injury? And I was like, yeah, probably take the high road there.
I would say no.
Yeah, just take the high road.
I was just curious how he's like, was it on the steering wheel?
That's what I was thinking of. I was like, how are you holding a steer? I guess it's the airbag. But like, that's scary though.
Is Bryce Young more or less nervous about this game than any other game he has started this year?
No, I think that there's something. I'm actually curious if there was like
think?
I think less. I think there's like something about a professional death experience or near death experience that I kind of wonder if he comes out and just plays more decisively.
Right.
There are certain flaws in Bryce Young's game that are intrinsic, will never change because basically he's the size of Kyler Murray. With none
who's
of Kyler
near
Murray.
death? Are you talking about Andy Dalton?
Oh, that was a bad example to use. I guess that was the wrong phrase.
You're saying Bryce Young had a career near death experience?
Yeah,
I see.
And I guess that was the wrong time to use that phrase.
It's like Andy Dalton had a real one.
Phrasing, Archer. Yeah.
This is another version of like what is dead may never die. Like he's already.
but also
people have given up on him already. Like he doesn't really have anything to lose at this point. I feel
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Okay.
Yes.
We should stop using the death stuff around the car accident.
He's fine. They're fine. Everyone's fine.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
I don't know. I kind of think this is going to be a disaster.
Well, yeah.
That's what the 10-point spread is for, though, Nick.
I'm not saying he's going to play well. I'm just saying he's less nervous for this game because people have already given up.
Yeah. Denver's defense has been
There's less pressure
awesome this year.
Yep.
This is the Costanza.
Oh, wow. Dude, there's like 10
This is the Costanza. It's Bryce Young and the Panthers parlayed.
I mean,
with
Mason
the Titans.
Rudolph versus the Lions or Bryce Young versus the Broncos.
No one is fucking taking Bryce Young. But
more
you're right.
so than Mason
But
Rudolph.
the difference is Mason Rudolph's playing the Lions, and the Lions are like the best offense. The Broncos and Bo Nix short circuit. Would that really like the Panthers? To be clear, Panthers are the worst team in the league. Like the Panthers are the worst team. They're worse than the Patriots
by a lot.
Having said that,
I think it's
in
this
Denver.
is pretty Costanza.
Yeah.
Can't you imagine a world where Bryce Young just comes out and looks like, it's like when I remember seeing Batman versus Superman, and everyone's like, that's the worst movie of all time. And then I watched it on play, and I'm like, no, this isn't like the worst movie ever.
once they set that
It's
bar,
just
you're like,
bad.
Yeah.
I can see.
So, Craig, you know how last time you were like trying to differentiate between a Costanza and just like a big line?
Yeah.
Now that's what I'm feeling now. I'm just like, this doesn't feel like a Costanza. It just feels like the Panthers are really bad. And
Okay. All right, fine.
But
Then we'll stick with Titans and Levis.
To me,
That feels
with
impossible.
the Titans,
I think I
it's like-
disagree. Embrace debate. Okay, the way
we're not manufacturing this for the record. We're literally just like, this is how it feels.
to me, I'm like, the Lions are the best team in the league,
Right. That's why.
and the Titans suck.
That happens
That to me is
once
more-
or twice every year, though. There's always that's exact situation. There's always a team, a game every year where a team that sucks beats the best team.
Oh, you spilled the coffee.
Jeez,
We
Louise.
said that would happen.
Yeah. To me, that's more cut and dry. Like that's the biggest spread. I guess we'll just take the underdog. To me, this game is like there's a change in vibes because of the Bryce Young thing. Like I think because Costanza's more predicated on vibes, it's like Bryce Young's playing, I'm out. You know what I mean?
Right. But I guess like
Rather than just like Lions are the best team in the league.
well, the difference to me is like no one's like, oh, the Broncos are really good. Even though they
Yeah.
are 4-3, but like no one's like, oh, this is a scary.
There are
team.
4 wins. 3 of them are fake.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, they've been beaten
I think
up on
just
bad
like
teams.
from a Vice point of view, no one's like, I'm all in on the Broncos.
That's
the Broncos
fair.
are really
Okay.
good.
All right.
Like, can you?
convinced.
Knicks could melt down in this game. It would not surprise me whatsoever.
Okay. Good job. You
Even though
convinced me.
they're the Panthers.
All these teams are going to win.
Good job. I think that was like the most amicable like argument we've had.
Yeah.
There we
Look,
go.
strong opinions
All right, good
loosely
job.
held.
That's pretty much the entire show.
All right, Sunday Night Football. I can't wait to talk about this. Cowboys 49ers.
My God. Bad vibes bowl.
So I can't even describe. Okay, so the Niners, just to recap, Brandon Ayuk, torn ACL, MCL. Debo Samuel, hospitalized with pneumonia.
Might play.
Might play, which
Debo?
Yeah.
Wow. Already.
I love that.
Funny
Dude, the
moment
NFL's
that
fucking
happened.
crazy.
Funny moment
How
that
long would you be
He
out
was
of
in the
work?
hospital with fluid in his
wait.
lungs.
How long
like
would you be out of
4
work as
days
your
ago.
job as a podcaster if you had pneumonia?
I'm going to just go ahead and admit it. I had pneumonia last year.
So-
I don't know if you guys remember
Oh,
this.
yeah, right.
For,
That's
for
right.
people that listen, I didn't say this last year, but I had pneumonia.
How
And,
long were
like,
you out?
I didn't feel good for like literally a month afterwards.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
don't
I'm not
think-
a professional athlete, but
You're close.
Craig, I've not told you this story yet. So we're all in Los Angeles this week, and we got this news. We were in elevators with Austin Gale and I think Kai and I forget who, and we were like talking, and we get the update: Debo has pneumonia, and then everyone's just like, "Dude, who the fuck gets pneumonia now?" They're like, what like person under 30, under 40 gets pneumonia in
Yeah.
2024?
that's like
We can't even think of anyone who gets pneumonia. And I was like, and they're like trying to write it in the chat. And I'm like, careful around that.
DK got pneumonia.
No,
DK got
I would like to
pneumonia.
point out, I literally texted that to you guys. I'm like, I have pneumonia. Who the fuck gets pneumonia?
Well, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't, how did I get pneumonia? I
But
literally
you
had like a
responded-
really bad cold,
We
and
were
then
joking
it
about
like
it.
turned into an infection in my lungs. I don't know how it happened.
Measles ass disease.
It's like the mumps. Yeah.
Anyway, pneumonia sucks ass. So that's why I'm like, Debo Samuel had pneumonia literally like last week. I didn't feel normal. I couldn't like breathe normally for a month. He might be like a superhero. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
anyway, who gets pneumonia? Who does that?
I mean, this game to me is maybe the biggest must-win of any team of the season for the San Francisco. I think if the Niners lose this game,
that's like that's
a
they're like,
really
that's where
good
we
call.
Can actually bury them.
Like
I'm burying them already.
I know you are,
but like you're right. I'm in their own heads though. Like Shanahan, like, he needs to pull out every stop this game, and this is a winnable game, I think. Still, but other than like maybe the Bengals being 1-4, that game was probably very important. That Week 6 game to go to 2-4 rather than 1-5. Other than that, this is a massive game for any shot of the Niners remaining relevant this year.
That's an excellent call, Craig, because not only does it hurt to get their teeth kicked in by the Chiefs last week after not being able to beat the Mahomes and Chiefs for like 5 years. Last year, the Niners atomized the Cowboys. They dismantled them. It was like 40-10. I think it was one of the least competitive games of the entire season. The Niners destroyed Dallas. Dallas changed their entire offense after the game. If the Niners came in and lost to Dallas, I think it would psychologically crush them even further.
Especially on primetime.
And also, just to reiterate, and I know this sounds funny, but it is true that between Debo having pneumonia, Ayuk being out for the season, Juwan Jennings missing last week with the hip injury, McCaffrey having the Achilles tendonitis that is spreading like the rot.
I know where this is going.
Jordan Mason with the shoulder rot. The rot. Jordan Mason is the shoulder injury. Like, their healthiest skill player is Ricky Pearsall, who was shot in the chest.
The guy who got a bullet went through his body like 2 months ago.
In the chest is their healthiest fucking player. Like, that's
that story is wild, by the way.
It is wild.
Like, we haven't spent enough time thinking about this. Like, that's incredible.
McCaffrey's going to miss the whole year. Ricky Pearsall missed like 5 weeks.
Ricky Pearsall's coming back.
I want to go back in time. He's
going to come back sooner.
Right to the moment we found out Ricky Pearsall gets shot, and be like, he will play before McCaffrey.
A bullet went through Ricky Pearsall's chest, and McCaffrey, like, calf kind of hurt. And McCaffrey's
flaring up.
Tight, a little tight.
Oh my God. Yeah, so you're right about that. Also, wait, the best part of this, of all the people missing this game, the funniest. Oh no, he's going to play. But
they're all funny, but the funniest.
So right. Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Raheem Mostert. Yeah, it's
Tua Pearsall. This is just like the Laugh Factory.
Just laugh a minute. Yeah, laugh a minute league here.
He's having a good time.
Brandon Aubrey, the Cowboys kicker, missed practice on Wednesday, I believe, for jury duty.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really funny that an NFL player had to like show up to jury duty.
Aren't football players just like some level of citizen hired? Like, do they have to do this?
Yeah, I was like, Bill Gates isn't doing this shit.
Yeah,
it's fucking the kid, just call him. You know, look, NFL
you think Leo DiCaprio sitting on a jury? I don't think so.
No.
But here's the thing.
I'm not sure how he gets out of it, but he's not. He's not doing it.
So, all right.
He's like going to international waters on his yacht.
Yeah.
No proof.
Here's the thing, though.
I didn't get it. I didn't get the envelope.
Prove I got the
no proof.
Prove I got the mail. Prove I saw it.
Why didn't Aubrey do the no proof thing?
Good citizen. Maybe he's a model citizen.
It's not just
maybe
that
he likes. Maybe he really wants.
He cares about justice.
Yeah.
Well,
some people really like going to jury duty.
Well, guess what? He fucked up because he could have just done the thing where you pretend not to see it in the mail. Guess what?
He could have no proofed it.
Yeah. I don't think I told you guys this. Brandon Aubrey was selected for the jury.
What does that mean?
Brandon Aubrey's on the jury.
When does the trial start?
Oh, well, he missed practice Wednesday, and he's selected to serve on a 12-person jury for a felony assault case in Tarrant County centered around a second-degree strangulation charge.
Damn.
And he has to serve on this jury. The kicker for the best kicker in the sport has to serve on a jury.
We should applaud this. He's doing his civic duty.
The judge is definitely a Niners fan.
Yeah.
This is crazy. How could you not delay it?
Do we know when the trial's starting? Well, is he going to, like,
I don't know.
How many games is he going to
miss? I don't think I've ever heard of an NFL player having to do jury duty.
Aaron Schatz used to run Football Outsiders at FTN now. I think he tweeted out that, like, I once told a judge on jury duty that football was essential to my job, and I got out. So how did Brandon Aubrey not get off this fucking jury?
Did you guys see the show Jury Duty?
Yeah.
By the way?
Yeah.
Such a funny show.
I've heard it's amazing.
Really funny.
That's the one where, like, the whole, everyone's, and it's fake.
Everyone's in on it except Ronald.
One guy is doing it, and he ends up being
normal guy. Yeah.
Ends up being like a good person.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Isn't in the show, doesn't someone feed him the line, or maybe he feeds someone the line of, like, you can get out of jury duty if you're racist? And they're like, oh, that's a good call.
That's also a Curb Your Enthusiasm bit.
Right.
Which I won't repeat the line Larry says in the show, but Larry tries to get out of jury duty by being racist.
Get the fuck out.
You haven't seen that? Oh, yeah, it's funny.
So anyways, Aubrey, just saying, you have this opportunity.
But we don't. He might be playing in this game. We don't know.
He's gonna. Well, there's no cherries on Sundays.
Right.
But
So
like, isn't it crazy that he's missing Cowboys practice and he's gonna be just on this murder trial?
he's a kicker.
Great.
I mean,
he's the best
That's
kicker.
what the judge said. You're the fucking kicker. You take your warm-ups.
Yeah, that's good.
That's.
So
also,
wait, we don't know yet if he's going to play in this game.
No, he's gonna play. How could he? He's not gonna miss the game.
They don't
He
have
just
jury
can't-
duty on Sundays, do they?
That's what. No, that's
You
what I
just
just
said that.
said. You were tweeting.
Oh, well, I was listening to Craig. I was tweeting.
Anyway,
I was tweeting.
it's like Ted. Sorry, I was sending a tweet. All right, Monday Night Football.
Game of
The
the
Giants are playing the Steelers. Game of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Do we? I feel like we both kind of hate our teams,
Yeah.
and this isn't even like, oh, my team will kick you. I'm like, I'm embarrassed to watch my team. I'm embarrassed to watch them in front of you.
We won't be in front of me.
I feel like I'm like with my loser friends.
I don't know
and
where
you
I'm
caught
at.
me.
I don't know why the Steelers are 5-2, and I'm just like so sure that it's not going to work out. I just know they're going to be like 9-8 and get blown out in the playoffs or something. We were talking about this yesterday in the office. DK was like, "Well, Craig, would you rather have Daniel Jones than any of the Steelers quarterbacks?" And I said, "No way. I think I would rather have Russ or Fields
Then Daniel Jones.
Than Daniel Jones. Yeah, like I think the Steelers have the best two quarterbacks in this game.
I would take Russ and Fields for Jones in a heartbeat. They're
Yeah.
all going to be free agents at the end of the year too. Like,
Yeah.
because Jones is going to get cut, and
Maybe they'll just swap.
like
If they need logs.
I think a phone call would have saved a lot of trouble.
this little Yankee swap. Did you guys see John Mara? This is a weird story. Not weird, but there's layers to it. John Mara, who owns the Giants.
John Mayer?
Mara. Oh, John Mayer?
You did say Mayer.
Fuck.
John Mayer.
John Mara.
Great musician.
Body is a wonderland.
Yeah.
I saw him in concert actually
I saw him too.
Making love to his
At the
guitar.
Forum.
Yeah.
He's great.
It's pretty sick what he can do with just a guitar.
Search for Everything. Awesome album.
I love In the Blood too. I think it's like
that's on Search for Everything.
You guys are two big John Mayer fans.
Yeah.
I
In the
actually am.
Blood
I
In
love
the
John
Blood's-
Mayer.
In the Blood
I'm not
is
ashamed to say
surprisingly
it.
big
Dude,
John
I love
Mayer.
John
I
Mayer.
love John. I love you, John.
I love John.
I celebrate the man's entire catalog.
Yeah.
In the Blood, I think is like the epitome of like small words, big ideas. Like it's like fuck. That applies to everybody. Shut the fuck
he's
up.
getting
People
really
make fun of me
serious
first. Shut the
there.
fuck
Austin
up.
couldn't hold his laugh in there.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Not afraid to be vulnerable.
Small words, big ideas. Heifetz has all these little pithy phrases. So,
Pithy is the
You know?
right word, yeah. It's like a car salesman on a fantasy football podcast.
yeah.
How much of my father has my father left in me?
Yeah.
Is that
How
much-
a line from John Mayer?
It's a
Yeah.
line from In the Blood.
Okay.
Just saying.
I wish I actually.
How much of my love is destined to be crazy to some degree?
Yeah.
So wait,
Anyway,
John Mayer is playing with the Grateful Dead.
dude,
band,
I need to
right?
get to the Sphere.
He's, like,
man.
touring with
Sphere.
Yeah, he's done it for a while.
That's pretty rad.
Sphere.
But it's cool that the Grateful Dead are basically like, we'll only let one person into our band, and it's John Mayer. That's how,
So
that's how
sick.
good John
What are
Mayer
they
is.
called again now?
The Grateful
It's
Dead.
still Grateful
No,
Dead.
I know, but
it's
there's
Dead
like
and Co.
Dead
Oh,
and Co.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's a great tweak.
But they were just like, yeah, Jerry Garcia passed away. Who are we allowed to come in and like not replace him, obviously, but like play with us and jam with us? And it's one guy, John Mayer. It's so sick.
Yeah, I really want to go to the Sphere. Sphere? I can't say that word.
Sphere.
Sphere.
Anyway,
I think
John
you're saying
Mayer.
So John Mara, the Giants owner.
Mara?
The guy who owns the Giants, John Mara. And
Mara.
Mara.
Isn't it the Maras? It's Mara. Not Mara. Isn't it
Maybe
Mara?
that's just like a New York accent.
Rooney
thing?
Mara, right? Isn't that?
That's what I thought, but
I don't know.
Whatever. Who cares?
this is the one time in the history of the show where
Rooney
who
and
cares?
Kate Mara.
Rooney Mara.
I don't know.
John
I
Mara.
think it's Rooney. I mean, I've
You're
heard
just
it,
like
Rooney Mara.
you're making it like 2.5 syllables. You're like Mara.
But
Anyway.
that's just like a New York.
You're like-
East Coast thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love the East Coast. No problems with it.
Anyway, he said he won't
I love
fire.
the accents out there. It's
I don't
fine.
think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he won't fire Brian Dable or Joe Shane at the end of the year. And Joe Shane's the Giants GM. Dable's the coach, obviously. He said he won't fire him. It came out of a screening about his father. Like, I don't think you guys know this, but on every NFL football, it says the Duke. And the Duke is actually John, like the guy who owned the Giants. And that's like on every football. And there's a documentary screening about John Mayer's dad. And come out of that, and they're like, hey, like, do you have any wisdom after watching that documentary about your father's life? Do you have any thoughts about? Are you in your feels basically about running the team? And he was like, yeah, I feel like my dad was more patient than I've been at times. I'm getting choked
tearing up.
But he's like
Thinking about John Mayer.
Yeah, the Duke. in the blood. How much of my father has my father left in me?
I can't tell if you're actually choking up or that was just a coincidence.
I don't know. Who's to say? I was definitely a coincidence.
Now
but
you're
no,
yawning.
but he's
Also, it's how much of my father am I destined to become? How much of my mother has my mother left in me?
Anyway,
all the Mara heads are
so good though.
Mayor
Mara
heads.
But what was I saying? So John Mara basically was like he was really patient. He was patient through the tough times. I've probably been guilty of not being patient enough. Basically saying he wished he hadn't fired Ben McAdoo when he benched Eli Manning. Wish he hadn't fired the old GM Jerry Reese. And basically he said, I'm going to stick with Dable and Shane unless something crazy unexpected happens. I couldn't tell if it was a very calculated decision or frankly, I kind of think he just said it actually out of emotion of sitting there and watching the documentary. And
it's a good time to
like
make
he
a
made like a
decision.
pledge towards loyalty in a moment.
Yes, I kind of wonder if he just walked
like
out of there and was like,
Vegas.
I'm keeping these guys, which I actually don't hate that.
I don't hate it either.
But I do think he kind of just made the decision right there. I really kind of do. And I think it's
like,
also
we
a
should
little
get
cover.
married. Literally, I said this. I don't think you guys heard. I'm like, it's like getting married in Vegas.
The fucking
it's like
graduate.
You're swept up in like the everything of let's go get married.
Really though. So yeah, I thought that was interesting that they asked him a question and he just was like made a decision, which I can't remember elders doing that very often.
Let's get married by an Elvis impersonator. That's the new GM.
All right, that's all we got.
So Costanza officially, we're going to do Titans over the Lions, and we're going to do also the Panthers, or we just stick with Titans?
Should we put out the four?
I don't know.
It's Titans. The consideration are we're eliminating Browns Ravens. Would you really be surprised if Jameis made that a game in the entering the fourth quarter? I feel like that wouldn't be shocking at all.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, also like the Ravens have a history of kind of like being highly volatile.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking Bryce Young. I think it's Bryce Young and it's Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, I agree. Those are the Costanzas. Everything's telling me that's ridiculous.
Mason Rudolph. There's an NFL quarterback playing in the right now named Mason Rudolph.
It is a pretty silly name.
It's a silly name.
Because you know why? The first name's Mason, which is I like that name. But the second name's a reindeer. The reindeer.
All right.
He can't be named after a reindeer.
Rudolph.
He's not named after a reindeer.
It's kind of named after a reindeer.
You can't be named after a reindeer. It's his last name.
He's kind of named after a reindeer.
Pass it down through the generations. He's not named after the reindeer, which I think it's funny.
You think the Rudolph family was named after the reindeers?
I don't actually like.
Very common last name.
It's like that's the funniest sentence you've ever said. It's not named after a reindeer.
It's giving.
It's
as
giving
the kids
reindeer.
say. It's giving reindeer.
It evokes reindeer.
It's giving reindeer.
This is the funniest thing I've ever heard. I don't know if I'm just like tired, but that was the funniest thing.
Also, just to button this all up.
Yeah.
We got an email from Ben because DK, you said
Benjamin.
You said in this studio a couple days ago that you basically were like, I'm not willing to say that Patrick Mahomes is. You basically were saying we were like Travis Kelce's more famous than Patrick Mahomes. And then you were like, I don't know about that. That's ridiculous. I think you half believed it. Half were just mad that I said it.
Mm-hmm. It was like, what did you say? Strong opinions, loosely held? That's what it was. It's just like he's the most famous quarterback on a 2-time Super Bowl winning team. Like, let's think about this rather than just
Ben,
3 times. Sorry.
Ben emailed in. It's not that famous then, is he?
Is what I was saying. Yeah.
Ben emailed in. I work at an elementary school and all the kids are huge Chiefs fans. Out of curiosity, after your show, I asked the kids to raise their hands if they knew who Travis Kelce was. Unanimous. Every kid raised their hand.
The kids have spoken.
I did the same thing for Mahomes. All the boys raised their hands. A couple girls raised their hands. I just think DK does not fully understand the pull that Taylor Swift has on women, girls, and little girls. Yeah. She made all of them Chiefs fans. It's kind of actually insane.
I accept.
We also ran a poll on the show, and Travis Kelce won 78% to 21%.
Not as much of a landslide as the old Bambi thing.
No,
it was 80-20.
That was 99-1
No,
that was like
16 votes for Bambi.
Out of 1,600 votes.
Literally dozens of us.
Dude, you lost to like...
And you had the 16 people who are still alive that worked on Bambi voted for you.
Jill Stein pulled more than you in the election. Like you didn't even pull like Ralph Nader numbers.
Look, I admit I was wrong. All I'm saying is I wanted to like pause for a second and think about it. He's a very famous NFL quarterback, multi-MVP.
No one's arguing that.
Okay.
He's famous.
Anyways, yes, I asked a few Ringer employees other than you guys since we argue all the time. Everyone agreed with you.
Yeah, that's.
So
He's dating Taylor Swift.
I concede. Good job. As you said, good job.
I like that you said that to him, but it didn't acknowledge.
Good job.
Me. That was, yeah.
I like you, Heifetz.
I love you.
I love you too.
That's nice.
Look at this olive branch.
Emails. Oh God, my voice. I'm so choked up by the John Mayer. Email us at
Not me telling you that I love you.
Oh yeah, that too.
Okay.
Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. And yeah, Sunday show coming up. Monday, we have a surprise. Send us fantasy courts. Send us your best fantasy courts. We have potentially a pretty fun surprise, fantasy court judge coming our way next week. Please send us fantasy courts. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Carlos, for producing this episode.
Thank you, Corey.
Austin. Thank you, Corey, for just being the man. Thank you, everyone, for the whole week. We did a whole week of episodes. To check out the Ringer NFL YouTube.
So fun being in
person.
You guys should move to LA. Come on. Should we do a poll? Should they move to LA?
Yeah, do a poll. There you go. There's a good poll. Should DK and
wait, should we do the 3 cities? Which city should the other 2 move to?
Yeah, that's good.
Seattle, DC, LA.
And then the fourth one is...
We just do like Chicago.
Compromise.
We all go in the middle. Austin, Texas.
I mean, we're all in kind of the corners. Like, what do you think is the middle of these 3 cities?
Omaha.
Is it,
probably Austin. Rogan's got some studio space.
Hey, Bill, I think we're going to move to Omaha.
Yeah.
Start a pod.
It's a podcasting hub.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lorne.
Lauren.
Thank you, Coolio.
How dare you not say John Mayer?
Dude, what the... No, do it again.
Okay.
Say John
Thank
Mayer.
you, John Mayer.
Yeah.
Jesus.
John Mara.
DK, what about this feeling that I'm
love
never
John
good
Mayer.
enough? Will it wash out in the water or is it always in the blood?
It's so good. It's so good.
Every time I think of John Mayer, I just think of the Chappelle Show skit with Mayer.
Dude, I saw
He's
Chappelle and Mayer
really
here.
funny.
They're good friends, and I saw a thing.
Oh, yeah. They did a comedy music special thing.
They did like the New Year's Eve thing, but they did like a few comedy sets, I think, to iron out the kinks. And so it was just like Chappelle's opener.
Iron out
was
the
obviously
kinks?
good. Yeah. Is that a weird phrase?
No, that's
I guess you don't iron out kinks.
Work out the kinks,
Yeah.
iron out the wrinkles.
Yeah, that. And so, but it was Chappelle's opener, and then John Mayer came out and just did the 7 songs you want to hear from John Mayer, and then Chappelle came out behind him just smoking a cigarette, watching the end of the set, and then he did 40 minutes, but then John Mayer came back out and they do 40 minutes of just like music-based stand-up. It's pretty sick.
What is the quintessential John Mayer song?
Well, there's like early John Mayer,
a
and
good
it's like your
question.
body's a wonderland, like waiting
That's
on
the
the world
one
to
I think
He
change.
didn't play that in concert though for like 15 years.
I
because he
like
was
more
ashamed.
Did he
recent
write
John
that about
Mayer.
Jessica Simpson?
Yeah, and he was embarrassed by it. And now he basically comes out and like when he plays it, he gives a little interlude of like, these are the thoughts of a very stupid 22-year-old asshole.
You know, he refers to Jessica Simpson as sexual napalm.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Pretty awesome.
It's pretty evocative. Yeah, pretty awesome.
He regrets it now. He's like,
That
that's
was
sick though.
Come on.
He really regrets
Sexual
how he treated her,
napalm.
but yeah.
Well, I'm not saying anything about. I'm just saying the phrase "sexual napalm"
It's pretty good,
is
yeah.
cool. It's a good
That
word.
is a good writer.
But I like recent. I like more recent John Mayer.
Oh, okay.
Less poppy, I would say. He's like experimenting a bit more. His last album, Long Train Home. Is that the name of the album? That was like a little bit more like yacht rocky. You know,
it was called Sob Rock. It was
Sob Rock, right.
It was just yacht rock.
yeah, I like what he's been doing in the last like 5 to 10 years. His earlier stuff was very good, but it was much more like poppy. I would say.
Yeah.
I guess I might have to listen to some John Mayer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
dude.
just think about Kyle Pitts and you're like, will I let this woman kill me or do away with jealous love? You know?
Sexual napalm. It's a good fantasy team name.
Will I dim the lights inside me just to satisfy someone?
Okay. The lyrics aren't working on me.
No, you gotta listen to it.
No, it's good. It's good. Goodbye, everyone.